Good day to you one and all. It is I, Justin Hawkins, and this is Justin Hawkins Rides Again. You know that thing that happens sometimes when you hear a song and it connects immediately with your soul, and then you spend years listening to it and enjoying it, and you absorb the lyric and live by the philosophies espoused by the writer, and you think this artist has really created something that's connected with my heart and made me a different person. It changed everything. And then some real arsehole just turns around and says, well, actually, that's a cover version. And your whole world comes falling to the ground. A cleansing fire sweeps across the barren landscape of your soul. And it changes everything. Again, it changes everything. Or does it change nothing? That's what I'm going to discuss today. Today's episode is prompted after reading an interesting Reddit post on finding out that a song you love is actually a cover version. Can you imagine? Justin Hawkins writes again. Weirdly, this just happened to me. I'm very late to the party on Scott Walker, but I love Scott Walker. I've just been listening to the 4 Scott albums, well, the 4 that I'm aware of, and loving every word of it and just thinking, what an amazing lyricist this guy is. And then Frankie Poulin, bass player from The Darkness, turned around and said, well, yeah, which ones do you like then? And I was like, well, I particularly like these 2 songs off Scott 2. I like Next.
Naked as sin, an army towel covering my belly. Some of us blush, somehow knees turning to jelly.
And I like, what's the other one I like? Jackie.
I could be for just one little hour, a cute in a stupid ass way.
I just think they're amazing. I mean, the lyrics are just incredible. Nobody's writing songs like that anymore. And he goes, oh, yeah, those are the Jacques Brel covers. And a wave of disappointment hit me. I was like, oh, so Scott Walker isn't the person I thought he was. You know, he's not the guy. He's not the guy. Jacques Brel is the guy. So what happens when you find out a song you like by a certain artist is actually a cover version? Well, the first thing that happens to me anyway is like you go, oh, okay, well then I need to find out about the person that actually wrote the song. Does it make you feel differently about the song or the artist? Well, yes, it does. It makes you feel like there's more to be discovered. It makes you want to dig deeper and find out about the actual person that wrote it. Or, I mean, in some instances, if it's someone like Desmond Child writing a song for Bon Jovi, it's like everybody knows Desmond Child is like a heroic writer of enormous rock choruses, and you know, just seeing his name listed as a writer is not the same as a cover version. So I think the first thing that happens to me is you need to discover the original version, don't you? Like The Darkness, for example, we do a cover of Street Spirit by the Radioheads. And I think we do it an octave up and we make it sound a bit like Iron Maiden with a lovely galloping tempo. Oh, it's gorgeous, it is. But it bears no resemblance to the original, really, aside from the melody and the chords. So I would urge anybody that thought, if you thought momentarily that might be a Darkness song, go and listen to the Radiohead one, because it'll sound a lot better probably. What does the definitive version of a song mean? Is it always the original artist, or can it be the cover version? That's interesting, isn't it? I mean, that's the Zootons wrote that song Valerie, didn't they?
Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie?
And then Amy Winehouse did what most people would consider to be the definitive version of it. And it makes you think, well, then you go and listen to the Zootons and you think, well, I prefer the Amy White. I mean, most people, I think, would probably say that. I mean, not necessarily. I'm not here to tell you which is the best version, but for me, I think the Amy Winehouse one is the definitive version. And yet, it's a Zootons song. So they must feel pretty hacked off about that. How would you feel if people preferred another artist's version of a song that you wrote and recorded? I think if you've written a song, doesn't matter. Does it matter? I think if somebody else is doing the definitive version of a song and it's a hit, then that's your quid's in, because there's no overheads involved. You don't have to go and tour it. You're not obliged to perform it on television shows. Somebody else is doing all the promotion and you're just sitting back safe in the knowledge that you've written a hit, and you can collect the money. That's it. Simple. The artistic considerations go directly into your pocket with, aside from some management commission or whatever, and you don't have to think about anything else. You just enjoy it. I think songwriting is, if somebody gives life to a song that you've performed and written, that can only be good. It's like when you see your child excelling at a sport that you weren't very good at, basically. You're immensely proud, and in fact it's probably even more especial because you weren't able to do that in your own. You weren't able to do that, and then yet your child has gone off and performed admirably. It's brilliant. You become a cheerleader for the song, surely. To extend the child/song analogy way beyond necessary. Should it be stated that a song is a cover version when an artist releases it, or does it matter? I think if you did, I mean, if you were obliged to say that a song is a cover version, then I think it would actually scupper. It would spoil the fun for smartasses like myself and like Frankie Poulin, who liked to enlighten or disappoint people who think they know stuff. And, I always think that, looking at an old record, part of the fun of it was to sort of find out who wrote what. And even on the streaming services, the credits are available. You just have to click the thing that says song credits, and then you can read all about it. So this Reddit user says, so I get into these weird situations where my whole life I've been listening to a song, and then I find out it's not an original, and I feel a bit betrayed. On the one hand, it's, of course, totally my fault for not knowing it's a cover version, but then again, no one involved in marketing the song will ever tell you it's a cover version either. So if you don't hear about it or read about the specific song, you'll never find out. Why does it matter? I mean, yeah, this is an original painting of moi, but some people look at that and they think it's Kylie Minogue cheekily looking back over her shoulder. In fact, I probably did adopt that pose in tribute to Kylie Minogue. So in a way, that pose is a cover version of the Kylie Minogue cheekily looking over the shoulder and doing that. But it's still a wonderful piece of art in its own right, isn't it? And let's face it, Rear of the Year 1975, and every year since. So, you do the maths. That's. I can't be the only one who thought Killing Me Softly is a Fuji song. Well, yeah, you probably were the only one that thought that, actually. Just imagine the millions of 90s kids who, to this day, believe How Deep Is Your Love as a Take That song. Well, they must be fucking morons if they think that. Or that Valerie was written by Amy Winehouse. Read the sleeve. Once the current boomer generation dies out, the music industry can probably do cover versions of the entire 50s and 60s, and most people wouldn't ever notice. And the songs would be a lot fucking better as well, wouldn't they? Let's face it. I mean, there are millions of songs that are better than anything in the top 40 at the moment. And that's not just because there's a passing cloud and I'm an old man shouting at it. It's because it's true. We all know it's true. Nobody in their right mind believes that the current top 10 any of those songs would be in the top 10 of all time. Of course they don't. You'd be mad if you thought that. And when I say mad, I mean fucking crazy. No, I mean mentally ill. I think if somebody can take a song, breathe new life into it in the way that Amy Winehouse did with Valerie, not in the way that Take That did with How Deep Is Your Love, because they basically just did a shit version of it.
You need to show how deep is your love. How deep is your love? Is your love? How deep is your love?
You know, there's a reason why there's no obligation to even tell the original writer that you're doing a cover version of a song that's already been released and exploited, as it were. And I think that's because it's a perfectly legitimate endeavour to try and breathe your own particular kind of life into a song that you happen to love and enjoy performing. Valerie's obviously a great example of that. How Deep Is Your Love is a terrible example of that. But there are cases when it's probably my favourite Thunder song is it Gimme Some Lovin', which I think is a Spencer Davies group cover version. I really thought that Placebo, one of their B-sides, was a cover of Big Mouth Strikes Again by the Smiths, and I thought they did a brilliant version of it. I wouldn't say I preferred it to the Smiths version, but I enjoy both.
Big mouth, lighted it out. Big mouth strikes again, and I got no right to take my place in the human race. Big mouth, lighted it out. Big mouth strikes again.
They also modified the lyric a little bit, so where it was Walkman, I think they might have changed it to Discman or something that was, you know, a slightly more recent listening device du jour type thing. There's a reason why it's not illegal to do that, and there's also a reason why people don't feel obliged to alert folk to the fact that a song is a cover version. It's because everybody does it. They always have. Oh, but you know what? Finding out that Scott Walker relied so heavily on the work of Jacques Brel, the Belgian songwriter, opened my eyes, actually, because it made me realise that I shouldn't just be listening to Scott Walker, I should be listening to Jacques Brel as well, and learning both Flemish and French, and then discovering a whole world of Belgian singer-songwriters that I never knew existed until somebody, Frankie Poulin, ruined my day yesterday. Anyway, I think the whole point is, if you don't want to be made to look a fool or feel a fool, educate yourself. Read the sleeve notes and find out who did what. Then that way, you can be the one that spoils somebody else's day. Justin Hawkins writes again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, watch one of these two videos, and never, ever apologise for being a smart ass. Nice one.